Hey, what's up everybody? It's me, Ben, with Maker Decor. I have a really good build that I've been wanting to do for a while. So I've gotten a lot of requests for the foldable shelf backdrop, and I simplified it. I made it super easy. I have the plans already. They're gonna be on Etsy. Even if this is your first time attempting to build, watching the video, going over the plans, this is a great first time build. Man, no, I love the way this came out. Wouldn't be level because my ground is not level. So what I did is just measure from the bottom to make sure from the bottom to the shelf it's going to be the same length. So if it's whatever inches from here to here, it's going to be level when I put it on a flat surface. It's not flat. The surface I'm on right now is not flat. So if I just went by a level, it would probably be like this. And then when I put it on the actual flat surface, it's not gonna be level. So the best way to do it is just measure from the bottom to get the exact measurements on both corners, and it should be close enough. So it helps to kind of have a nail poking out just a little bit. I have it measured to the 1 inch right at the edges, and so I know an inch from here and an inch from the edges. I have the screw poking out a little bit, attach it in, screw it from the back. Works easy. Just do the rest. And then once you finish, you're gonna measure in between all of them to make sure they're all the exact size. The spacing should be the same on each one. I measured them all perfect on this side. Perfect. The two sections. Between that top section, I got a 1/4 inch off. So it's telling me, and if I look at it really, I can see a little bit off balance low here. So I need to pick that up a 1/4 inch. What I'm gonna do is unscrew the corner, mark it, lift it up to that 1/4 inch, and screw it from the middle, or the one a little bit more farther, so I don't try to re-go in that same hole. And once I have it on that one, I can screw the rest and even re-screw on that one, and it'll do it. So I just avoid that one just so it doesn't push it back into the same spot. Take this screw out, raise it up, and put a screw in here. Pretty easy. Now we're gonna try something a little different. Really, there's two ways you can do this. You can get a clamp. Once you mark the height, you'll clamp this and get another clamp and clamp the other side and make sure it's exactly measured the height you want. You can step back and look at it, or you can continue on from what we did, basically just putting the two screws in the back. We're gonna put the hinges on, and once the hinges are on, we're just gonna pull out the screws from the back. You'll have like 2 holes in the back, but that's not gonna matter. They're gonna be covered by wood. It's just kind of having a good placement, especially if you're just one person doing this. It's kind of easy just to throw in the screws, make sure everything's level, and you can kind of look at the whole thing at once instead of doing with the clamps one at a time, unless you have a bunch of clamps and you can clamp them all in. One person putting in some screws, and all we're literally gonna do, it's some extra work, but then all we're really gonna do is just put the hinges on top, screw the hinges in, unscrew the back, and it should be able to fold. All right, let's finish this up. All I'm gonna do is unscrew from the back. It's a super simple build. Man, that close, that close is nice. I like that. All right, let's knock out the rest. I don't know if you can tell, but it's super windy today, and hopefully the voiceover is going through. I'm seeing how it works out with you. Like a lot of my builds, I'll try, fix, and I'm like, that didn't work, this is too hard, how can I do this differently? And so whenever a plan falls into place, it's always like, yeah, I like those hinges too, look at that. Boom, 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 boom. let's party. These are meant for like snacks or whatever. Let's just see. Maybe you like this, maybe you like the way it is and you rather have it set up like this, and you use a van for transport or a truck for transport. Super easy. Fold the legs in, fold these back, toss it in, you're good to go. Everybody loves the foldable stuff. I guess if you have a minivan or maybe a small SUV, it's a little more manageable. So what we're gonna do is cut this in half, because we want to hide that cut. So the best way to do it is actually gonna be under one of these. And so the closest part I'm thinking is probably going to be either under this one or this one. Let me measure and see what looks better. So the center is actually right here, but I'm going to move the cut up a little bit here. It'll still give me a foldable backdrop. It'll be about whatever the distance is that you decide, but it's always better to hide it under this. I'll have more description in the plans. So I drew that line. We're gonna need it. We're gonna cut it from the back. So line it up with our cut here. Here's our line right here. You can use anything as a guide for your saw. Like if you have something like this, you can clamp it on both sides and line up your circular saw to make sure you get a straight cut all the way across. I have a track saw, so it makes it a lot quicker and easier and more precise cuts, but this will do it really well as well. It just takes an extra 5 minutes just to make sure you're lined up with your saw, the clamps for the corners, but you've seen me do it in other videos. Before I add the hinges, I'm gonna add some clamps to the side just so it holds it even. Those screws with the other hinges kind of get in the way a little bit, so I'm going to switch them out from the original white hinges that I had in the back. These are a little shorter. They should keep from poking out in the back and kind of get in the way of me sliding that wood up and down. I'll have a little more information about all that in the back stuff in the plans. Let's dress it up a bit. Oh, and if you're wondering where I got some of this stuff, like these champagne glasses I'm putting on there, I got them from Party City. Make the build, decorate it however you want. This is just an example. So you can do any sign you want. You can do for any event you want. This is just something I wanted to kind of set up and see how it would look together, kind of give you an idea. And so this backdrop is actually only 3 feet wide, which I like. You can't even notice it. Still has like a good amount of width to it, but definitely a lot easier to store and transport. Alright guys, let's try this with one more sign, bride to be. So if you're wondering, these are actually pretty thin. They're 1/4 inch. Some are a little thinner, but that's how you're able to use those. Command stickies, and they work pretty well. Just make sure you put enough on them. The thing stays on there, hard to get off. But yeah, it only work on a thin, the 1/4 inch. If you do 1/2 inch, it's gonna be too heavy. It'll come off. 1/2 inch needs to be tied with some fishing string in the back. I definitely like these little thin options. They don't work so well for longer signs because it's gonna be so thin that they're fragile, they're gonna break. So these are fragile, a little more fragile, since they're 1/4 inch, not the full 1/2 inch. You have a good option of being able to just to stick it on there. In small sizes, the thin ones work really well. But once you start getting bigger, you have to go to 1/2 inch and use fishing string. They're gonna be pretty fragile. All right, thanks for watching this video. Thanks for all the support you give. I definitely have a lot of projects that are coming up, so make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.